Analysis of the factors causing disputes in construction projects using Way Anova. Abstract: due to overgrowing demands and change in the work policy, disputes have started arising a lot in construction industry. To avoid all this, it's necessary to take some relative factors into consent. Thus this study aims to analyze the factors which cause disputes in the Indian construction sector. Where conflicts is defined as indispensable as peace, since the only reason for seeking peace is because there exists conflict, which is inevitable in the construction industry as in any human endeavor. Accordingly, the conflict arising in the client, contractor, and consultant is studied and the reason of disputes are found. In order to reach these objectives, a literature survey was carried out to determine the cause of constructional disputes. The response analysis will be carried out with the help of statistical method to determine the cause of disputes according to their importance. Keywords: contractor, client, disputes, conflicts, critical factors. Introduction. The construction industry plays an important role in the development and growth of the nation. It plays a crucial role in the economical growth of the country. It helps in the urbanization of the rural parts of the country. Hence, the process of modernization requires implementation of new methods and techniques, which ultimately turns out to be more and more complex and leads in the evolvement of several ideas among the various participants in the industry, which ultimately gives rise to various conflicts and disputes in the constructional projects. The construction sector is a compound sector in which client, consultant, contractor with various views, talents, and levels of knowledge of the construction process work together. In this sector, the client, contractor, consultant from various parts have their own goal to get maximum output. Construction disputes may generally happen often during every construction project and could take place at any time during the design and construction phase of the project. It is necessary to know the causes of dispute in the field, to avoid delays, since majority of the money is locked in the construction sector. To avoid these reasons, one should know the reasons of dispute happening on the field and between the client, contractor, consultant. However, there is an uncertainty between the dispute and conflict between the people of the sector. Conflict and dispute are two distinct notations. Conflict exists wherever there is differences in opinions. Conflict can be coped, possibly to the extent of preventing a dispute arising from the conflict. On the other side, disputes are one of the major factors that delay the successfully progress/completion of the construction project. 2. Literature review. Junying Liu, et al., 2018, Experience Mining based on case-based reasoning for dispute settlement of international construction projects. Considering the experience orientation of the construction industry, the priceless experience of similar historical cases is important help to resolve new problems, while research concerning this issue in dispute settlement is still relatively scarce. The objectives of this study are to 1. Propose a pragmatic method for generating dispute settlement for international construction projects based on case-based reasoning, CBR, and 2. Validate the CBR model by a specific dispute case. To achieve the research objectives, the successful historical cases are selected, collected, and attributes that influence dispute-related problems are derived in the similar cases. Kartikeyan, et al., 2017, in a study on causes and effects of conflicts in Indian construction projects, describes that there are various reasons that how the conflict or dispute arises in the construction sector. Author describes the type of conflicts like emotional, task, due to break of contract terms. The author has used the questionnaire survey to minimize the conflicts and its effect upon the industry. Also describes that these study can help the managers as the guidelines for taking action while managing their projects. This paper has given the conceptual model for minimizing the conflict. Similarly, empirical studies can be done to find reasons for conflicts and disputes based on the primary data. Sagar Soni, et al., 2017, in Conflicts and Disputes in Construction Project, an overview. The author says that disputes or conflicts cannot be finished off completely but can be minimized taking the factors responsible for the arguments. The factors that cause conflict are like that owner-related, contractor-related, consultant-related, third-party and human behavior-related, design and contract related should be taken into considerations while managing the disputes. Simon Grant, et al., 2014, A Matter of Interpretation, Liquidated Damages and Ambiguous Contracts. The author explains the damages with the help of mathematical solutions of differentiation. Framework developed suggests the possibility of an endogenous choice between contracts over different characteristics, where the choice contractual variables depends upon the documents, the level of ambiguity and potential gains from risk sharing. Rizwan U. Faruqi et al., 2014, Key Causes of Disputes in the Pakistani Construction Industry. Assessment of trends from the viewpoint of contractors describes that several types of disputes arises due different types of claims, and cause of dispute in terms of frequency of occurrence and severity if it occurs. Sijadas Mitkusa, et al., 2013, Causes of Conflicts in a Construction Industry. A communicational approach describes that many of the times the reason of conflict resulting to dispute is unsuccessful. If the conflict is not controlled or managed on proper time, then it also leads to unfair behavior of parties and psychological defense mechanism. Jafar et al., 2011, Factors of Conflict in Construction Industry. A literature review describes that conflicts can be interpreted as a disagreement between two or more members of organizations or groups in the organization that arise because they have to use scarce resources, or carry out activities together, or have the status, goals, values, and perceptions is different. Author describes three important points in which conflicts can be categorized: behavioral conflict, contractual conflict, technical conflict. Way Anova. Way Anova technique is used to compare means of three or more samples using F distribution. This technique can be used only for numerical data. The Anova tests the null hypothesis that samples in two or more groups are drawn from populations with the same mean values. To do this, estimates are made of the population variance. These estimates rely on various assumptions. The Anova produces an F statistic, the ratio of the variances calculated among the means to the variances within the samples. If the group means are drawn from populations with the same mean values, the variance between the group means should be lower than the variance of the samples, following the central limit theorem. A higher ratio therefore impels that the samples were drawn from populations with different mean values. However, the one-way Anova is used to test for differences among at least three groups, since the two-group case can be covered by a t-test. Hypothesis. Responses were distributed among participants in construction industry and consistency among the data is checked. In order to fulfill the objective, the null and alternative hypothesis for examining the difference in opinions of the construction professionals as follows. The above table shows that F value is greater than the F critical, so the assumed null hypothesis is wrong. Therefore, the alternative hypothesis should be assumed for the further calculation. Inferences. The results of Anova shows that for organization versus factors causing disputes conclude that financial failure of the contractor, time extension, quality of work and change of scope are the critical factors causing disputes in construction industry. Result and discussion. As the data is analyzed with the range of experience is to be taken into consideration, most of the respondents are from 0 to 3 years. This helps to understand about the impact of the factors on freshers. It is observed from the above tables that there is significant impact on three factors based on the range of experience. They are, technical inadequacy of the contractor, quality of work, quality of design and availability of information. But the employees with experience less than 3 years for the factor technical inadequacy of the contractor and quality of design and availability of information, being critical for causing disputes, whereas employees with experience 9 years more accept that technical inadequacy of the contractor is critical factor. The F value shows that employees from all age group agree that quality of work, quality of design and availability of information are significant for causing disputes in construction industry. As the data is analyzed with the type of organization is taken into consideration, most of the respondents are from clients. This helps to understand about the impact of the factors are from client, which say delay in work progress, critical. Conclusion. Hence, the following main critical factors were obtained from the results of ANOVA technique: financial failure of contract, change of scope, time extension, delay in payment, quality of work, design variations initiated by the owner. In this study, the main causes of disputes in the construction industry were identified. First of all, the main causes of construction disputes were determined with a comprehensive literature review. Then, the disputes derived from the literature were classified into main groups. According to the classification, main disputes categories were found as owner-related, contractor-related disputes, design-related disputes, and contract-related disputes. The future work will be carried out to find the most critical factors that cause disputes in the construction industry with the help of analytical tool Way Anova technique.